Fucking clankers. Fucking clankers.
Recording in
Fucking
progress.
clankers.
Recording in progress.
Recording in progress.
Oh my gosh. Hello, Jesse. I feel like we should start with like actually a normal greeting. Hello, how are you?
We don't do that.
I know.
I'm tired.
Me
I'll tell you
too.
why, because
Why?
all the Substack kids kept me up late last night.
Oh my God. Was that fun? You did a live with our new friend, Sam, the sky guy.
Sam he hit me up in the afternoon. We talked about it a couple of weeks back.
Yeah.
And he hit me up and he goes, hey, you want to go on? You want to try to do a Substack live tonight and just see what happens? And I was like, yeah, sure. Why not?
So was it a ball?
It was fun. We stayed on for like 2 hours.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
Did you get some of that male energy? Because, we've been talking about that it needs to be a thing to have more men in this space.
Yeah. I mean, we nerded out and
yeah.
like everybody, but I mean, like pretty much everybody that was in the chat, like Natalie was there, Rachel was there, Abigail was there,
Abigail, our new friend.
Yeah, tons of new people, that
Wow.
like people, so many people I can't even remember everybody right now. So it was kind of crazy. Everybody that showed up. Jen Sam, who is that's Sam's wife, Jen Sam.
Yeah.
And and we just I think we're starting a podcast. Yeah, where we're gonna make Natalie explain Harry Potter to us. We're just gonna act out the book, and everybody.
I want to be a part of this.
Yeah, I know that we were like we're a little Jen picker character. Like I think Sam wants to be Hagrid.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure who Natalie landed on. Abigail's talking about being Dumbledore, which we thought was great, which is like, just be Dumbledore, like no, like no beard, no, not just as Abigail. Like,
wait, who's Rachel going to be?
I think she's going for Snape.
Oh, yeah. I love Snape. I'm so Slytherin.
Yeah. And I don't really know Harry Potter that well. So I told him I just want to be Gary Oldman.
Oh, that's so cool.
And they were like, yeah, you mean, I'm like, whatever, just call me Gary Oldman. And I just want to be Gary. I just want to pretend I'm Gary Oldman.
Maybe I'll be all the magical creatures that they come across the entire
I know, that would be
series.
So cool.
Yeah,
right?
That's what I want to be. I want to be Midge. I get to be something different every time.
I know. And then, so we're just going to read from the book until they sue us. I mean, that's our plan right now.
And we'll make it so popular and so happy that they can't possibly sue us, because it's like suing gummy bears. You're not going to. You'll be so unpopular.
What if it blew up and we were like just as popular as the new Harry Potter show?
Oh my God. Did you ever get into the Potter puppet shows?
No, I don't see.
What the fuck is wrong with you? Okay, look, I thought you were great until then. Oh, it's so funny. Like, they're cultural references. Somebody had like these little puppets on little popsicle sticks, and then they did these little AI things. And it's like the Harry. I'm just not going to do it justice, but I'm going to try. Ron and Harry in the popsicle stick come over, and here's Snape standing by himself, and they're like, bother, bother, bother. And then Snape whacks the puppets. I mean, it's so funny. And it's like it's a reference in my family. We're like, bother, bother, bother when we text each other too much. And we know we're talking about that. You have to deep dive into that. It's so cute.
Your kids are that.
Yeah, they grew up with it.
Yeah, they grew up with.
We did the book release party only once. They were old enough, and we did it just once. But where you get all dressed up and then you go at midnight. And so we were there. We got our book, and it was just so it was so cool. I
stumbled into a Walmart drunk one time when like the last book came out, and like they were literally putting the pallets out, at 3:00 in the morning. You know, and
it's like midnight. Yeah.
All I know is I walked out of there with the last Harry Potter book, and yeah.
I love
Kind of all
them.
I remember.
I love them. We listened to them on audio when we would do the commute to the schools. I mean, the audio books, we still have them. I'm like, those are memories of us. This will be so
No,
fun. Okay, this has to
I'm
happen.
so excited about. I mean, I know people love that. It's just
Yeah.
I'm of the Star Wars generation.
Yeah, me too. I am
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
So when Harry Potter, but like if I would have been your kid's age and I would have
Yeah.
Scholastic book faired the shit out of that stuff.
Yeah, I think what happened, and it's so relevant to what our subject is today. I got super sick. Here I am, a mom with two young kids, and I got super sick. And my big brother lived right down the road from us with his kids, and he's like, you need to stay down and get better for a couple days. So I'm dropping you off some books and you're going to love them. And I knew about Harry Potter, but I never read any of them. And he dropped off the whole stack of all of them. And I just sat there. So I called it my Harry Potter virus because I just sat there and read. And then I just pretended to be sick for a couple more days so that I had an excuse to just read.
Yeah. So you keep reading. Yeah.
Yeah. Because when you're a mom, you never have a sick day.
I mean, we saw the movies in the theater when they came out and stuff.
Yeah.
But I didn't get caught up in the mania of it all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. Well, this week we are talking about, and I just have to preface it with this. So after covering this article about how bad AI chatbots were at diagnosing the ER patients in that recent doom hole, you brought the article and we laughed our asses off, but also we were kind of scared. So I feel like I strong armed you this week to doing a whole episode on this subject. And I'm just hoping it serves as a warning to everybody listening and helps all of us inform someone in our sphere to always seek a real human being when dealing with health issues, mental or physical. And so today, what happened to me on Substack is so perfect because I experienced for the first time, Jesse, you got a precursor to this, but I was like tagged in an AI related article conversation. And it was I think he's a pharmacist that is doing this on his own. And he was like, I just wanted some other voices to weigh in on this. And he tagged me along with other people. So apparently now I'm some AI expert. I am definitely no Karen Howe. I can't even pretend to put on one of her shoes, but I have been doing a deep dive for 6 months now. So he was asking about our opinions on this recent policy change, or I don't know if it's a law that's proposed and they're working on enacting it in the state of Utah. And what it is, it's right now is an informal agreement between the San Francisco firm that's an AI company and Utah. And what they would be able to do is use AI to refill prescriptions for psychiatric medicines. It's very specific. The need, the state says, comes from overworked doctors and nurse practitioners and pharmacists just inundated with paperwork. And they see the AI bot to be some sort of like a relief valve. And I had to sit with it for a minute, drink my coffee, and I had some serious opinions about it because I realized that I have a boundary, that when it comes to human bodies and chat bots, I have serious concerns. They mix like oil and water, at least right now. Chatbots, we're told, have these black boxes, which Jesse and I have reported on, of data training, of programming, of weighted algorithms that we can't know or see or tweak or even question. And we can't regulate them either. They've proven to be sycophantic, give us what feedback it thinks we seek, and do not catch subtle cues. The human body, though, the degree on the wall nurse practitioner or doctor is genetically predisposed to catch subtle cues that AI can't. So thousands of years of our fight or flight, of surviving DNA because our ancestors caught a subtle hint of trouble or whatever and kept our line alive, it pays off when we interact with other human beings. So in my response to the article, I mentioned Zoloft because the pharmacist, a doctor that had started the thread, mentioned Zoloft first. And it's personal. It can feel like the last best lifeline to the patient when they experience severe side effects, like maybe some increased suicidal ideation. They're scared that the actual pharmacist or the doctor or the nurse practitioner is going to yank away their lifeline if they admit to having those side effects. So they may not. But a health practitioner that looks you in the eye and says, oh, did you see a side effect? And they dig down and ask more questions, then you might disclose that. And they might even help you find a path that is healthier, better, more of an actual lifeline for you. Where like a chatbot being sycophantic is going to go, just not even see the subtle cues and just refill the prescription. And I'm not saying that it could cause people to die, but I'm not saying it's a good thing. I do not endorse that. And also I just wanted to point out that AI chatbot, their frame on the wall, it's an empty blank piece of paper. There's no fucking degree. So I come into this with such a bias, Jesse. Oh my God.
So the chatbot that checks you over to refill your subscription is going to go, you have the best mental health problems ever. You're doing so good. Yeah. Is that what we're afraid of? That it's going to get to that level of sycophantic?
Yeah. Or even sending you to it sounds like maybe they will pick up subtleties like you're anxious. So then they'll send you like a triple supply of it. I mean, which is bad too. Like I just feel like when it comes to human beings, that's when I delineate a line. The actual human body, if it's going to be affected by the AI chatbot, we need to just say no, because we are told we don't know what is on the other side of that chatbot and they can't change or modify it, even though we know they're abjectly lying. But it's like, it doesn't matter. It seems like a dangerous cocktail to me.
The point that I made, and you tagged me on that thread where you were answering his question, is these are people's brains that we're dealing with here. It's not
actual gray matter.
And I guess where I'm coming from is so we're gonna let a thing that doesn't have a brain cannot pick up on cues, that is just it is basically it's not a thing, it's not sentient, it's not real, it has no way to know.
There's no there
there's nothing to it. But so when they say they say that they don't have enough medical professionals to keep up with this.
Right.
What that translates to me is we don't want to pay enough mental health care workers to keep up with this.
You're exactly right.
Yeah, it's so that's always where my brain goes, and I feel like with that, not with everything, I'm wrong about all kinds of stuff. But when it comes to like, hey, we just don't want to spend money on this, I'm usually pretty good with that. And
see it.
This screams that to me. I don't have the specifics. I'm talking off the cuff here, but I did see an article this morning that had to do with, there was a hospital. I think it was more a telehealth thing, but I think there was an AI component.
Yeah.
And like they didn't have a doctor to care for this kid on the staff, and they ended up dying.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And the family obviously is suing, because like
that feels like medical malpractice.
How do you not have a doctor?
You call yourself telehealth.
How are you trying to run like an ER, like telehealth? You know what I mean?
Like with a toaster.
Like, what do you do? Just walk in and like log into a kiosk like you're trying to like board your fucking flight at the airport,
Basically.
That's okay. That's not gonna work out.
It's not. And I tried to look for sources that are a little bit less biased than me. And it sounds like you too. We're both very human centric. And I found this one from the Decision Lab, and I linked to their article in the show notes. They had this great article that listed some positives of AI in medicine and some of what they called shortcomings. So the positives included some of the things we've talked about. AI might ease the workload of physicians and nurses because charting, uploading medical records, and lab results takes time. They also said AI might improve the accuracy of data inputs. They said might. So I'm going to highlight that myself. And the result of both of those could mean more face-to-face time for patients with their doctors and nurses. And go ahead and bank that little information because I refute that. I found even more documentation that says the opposites. Some of the shortcomings that they touched upon included this. AI is not able to understand human nuances, which we talked about. And I would say that is huge in capital letters, which if you type it into your smartphone, it actually throbs, which is kind of creepy. So don't text somebody the word huge in all uppercase, because for some reason, Apple thought that'd be cool if it kind of throbs. Huge.
This is one of those times where I'm glad I didn't get an iPhone.
But they also said that bias in, bias out, right? Warning signs we've seen from all the AI models, right, Jesse? Because we've talked about it, that the data input into these systems is weighted for way more males than females and way more for people that happen to be white than any other group. Another thing they did not touch upon, but I promise a little more later, is children versus adults. Almost all of the medical data in the models is for adults, which is a serious problem, especially when we're talking about dosing prescriptions and other factors. They mentioned potential data privacy issues. And again, this plagues all of AI, the sharing of sensitive data like your health information. AI models can go bad quick. Insurance companies might pay for some of that health data also on the back end and maybe even adjust their rates. Then there's the risk of data breaches, cyber break-in or conflicts of interest between private companies and patients. So there's even more disadvantages, but I can't just rant on this.
Everyone not just willingly gave away all of their genetic information to a tech company, but also paid $99 or whatever to do so.
Oh my God. Is that 23andMe thing?
Yeah. That thing that's like,
yes.
Am I Scottish or Irish, or whatever,
Do I have a little Neanderthal in me? That's what got a lot of people.
Exactly. And so, not only did who knows who got a hold of that was a huge health collection. And plus
and you're right. It was voluntary.
And you're not only was it voluntary, you're paying them to like steal your info and like sell it off.
Oh, that's so sad.
And that's one of the things that I was right about from the, I was just like, I'm like,
you had an instinct.
They're stealing. They're just stealing all our genes. You know what I mean?
It doesn't take much of a fiction writer brain that we both have to say, oh, that's interesting. Who would steal it? Some group that's nefarious, and they would use that DNA to create.
Unfortunately, I've seen way too many movies and read way too much science fiction. But yeah.
That's a good point, right? To our, covering all this stuff. I did find that a place called Caragon.com lists a couple more disadvantages. So there's ethical questions. So AI raises questions about patient privacy and consent. And we're talking about sensitive data, as I mentioned earlier. Do you want it out there that you're taking blood pressure medication or suffering from ED or whatever your thing is? And then there's opacity. AI decision-making as I talked about in my response to the doctor on Substack today, it's often in a black box, so lacking transparency and often making it hard or damn near impossible to understand how AI reaches its conclusion. And that's true. Data dependence, AI's effectiveness is tightly coupled with the quality of the data it's trained on. So you shove in this poor biased data, it leads to inaccurate outcomes. And in fact, we haven't been allowed to see any AI model data records. None of the companies are disclosing it. And then there's also the problem of diagnostic.
Fancy that. Imagine that.
Yeah, go figure. They talked about diagnostic over reliance. So that's like becoming overly dependent on AI diagnostics. And this is what's really scary. That means that the opinions and the nuanced judgments of experienced actual human healthcare workers will be disregarded, shoved to the side for AI. And that just pisses me off. We've already seen this.
Again, money. It all has to do with money. This is already out there, like one of the most popular shows in the country right now is The Pit. And they have a secondary storyline where a new doctor comes in and like she's created this AI thing to like help charting and stuff. So they're already having the argument on the show. So if if it's worked its way into
mainstream media,
mainstream media, it's
but what's scary beyond, I'm glad that they're addressing it in a mainstream way, but we've seen it also. Like, imagine being a doctor and you're like, I have a feeling I need to call for more tests because this is kind of a variable I'm not comfortable with. And then AI, your hospital management says, we're going to weigh AI's opinion like heavier than yours, and they toss it out. We're already seeing that. We saw it in Audible. Remember when Amazon, it was like 2 or 3 years ago when Amazon, all of a sudden, all the books that were audio narrated by human beings were dropped down in the algorithms for these AI bots that were narrating books. So we're seeing these biases for AI over human made in every space. It's terrifying.
Yeah, they're trying to change the business model where like they keep well, just think about it. If you're sending all the human stuff down and pushing all the AI stuff up, it's so like Kindle or whatever Audible gets more of the money.
Yeah, you're right. There's no sharing. Yeah,
they're not paying narration.
Yeah.
They set up their own huge AI thing where you like, hey, you press a couple buttons and like your Kindle turns into it gets read by a clanker, and and that's an extra X amount of dollars to like do that.
Yeah.
But then you're like, oh, I got an audiobook though. People like audiobooks and like, oh, I don't have to go out and find and I guarantee you they're going to do that. They're going to do the same thing with, you're going to basically upload like the shittiest, like unedited manuscript ever to Kindle and it's going to edit it for you and format it automatically. It's going to throw some clanker AI cover on it, and then it's going to spit an audiobook out for you, and it's going to be a one-stop shop.
It's so disgusting because all of the parts of that just make me so mad. We actually, just for the listeners' sake and background, we're trying to get a hold of an author, a well-published author that has lots of books out there, and to come on the show and talk about it, and specifically talk about the process of coming up with the idea of the book, fleshing out characters, coming up with, what it is to be a human being actually creating this art, and then not only creating it, but editing it, proofreading it, making up a cover that matches, and all the things that AI can't do. And then on top of it, then they're throwing out a product that's highly curated, very cerebral, and it's being compared with the algorithms of AI bot generated books that are ripping off everybody and being spit out.
Why do you think those awful covers that where everything looks like a fucking cartoon right now?
I am so sick
popular?
Of them. You're right. It's because they favor.
They're training us. They're training us for that. This is what book covers look like.
And we have to keep, that's why I love your barn sale, because that's not what we crave. That isn't. I love every book cover.
There's an extra barn sale this month. Yeah.
Jesse. Okay. Then I'm going to point people to
I can't wait.
Buy Me a Coffee. We have a Buy Me a Coffee link at the bottom in our show notes, because you could, instead of buy me a coffee, think of it as buy Jesse a barn sale treasure. That's what we should change it to.
Buy something at the barn sale. Pass it on to actual real people, real retailers.
Exactly. And when
they don't sell none of that clanker nonsense at the barn sale. They don't do that.
I'm going to have some incentives for that. Buy Me a Coffee too, because I have so many AI specific books, and I'm not going to fill up my shelves with them and have them in my background to look like some fucking expert on CNN. I'm not going to do it. So when I'm done with them and I've written all my notes down, I want to just pass them on. So if you're in the US, I will just ship them off to you, whoever wants them. And that'll come up. I have lots of witchy books too. So we'll have some little incentives. I didn't mean to do a little ad in the middle of it.
It's a good little ad.
I think so. Well, and just going back to some of the cons, because it seems like it is a con. It's a medical con when we think of AI and chat right now, chatbots. But I talked about the security breaches. Do you want some nefarious entity having access to your DNA thanks to a computer hack? I actually don't want that. The other thing they're finding is error propagation. That means that errors made in early diagnosis can be amplified if AI continues to learn from that incorrect data, and it will reinforce those mistakes. And then I went into the 5 biggest cons of AI in healthcare. I mean, it literally is modern day snake oil. Number 1, lack of
the hoodoo operator.
Oh my God, it totally is. I feel like we should have a special noise for this.
Sell them tonics for that whooping cough. Yeah.
That's what it feels like. Yes, for our cholera. So that we don't become like the Oregon Trail where we're gone.
That's a Clutch song, by the way. All props to Clutch.
All props to Clutch. So number 1, lack of personal touch. So we've already talked about this. We've debated it. Actually not debated it, but AI can't replace the warmth and personalized care that comes from humans in healthcare, or even a doctor or a nurse practitioner that's known you for a number of years. And they know when something's atypical that maybe even you don't notice. Number 2, data privacy concerns. I covered this, but worth repeating. I'm just going to say it. 3, potential for misdiagnosis. We know no AI system is infallible. In fact, let's go ahead and say all AI systems, they are fallible. And that should concern every one of us, especially when it comes to our health and our medical diagnoses. Number 4, AI is expensive. And this comes with if we were doomholing right now, we'd have the happy Santa bell because, you have it?
I mean, you had me, you said doomhole, you had me reaching for the wrong bell.
Okay, ring for the happy bell. AI is expensive. Smaller medical facilities might not have access. I'm going to read that again. Smaller medical facilities might not have access, which means let's go find the smaller medical facilities, folks. If we have to go in and see a health professional, that's the key, right? Because they can't pay for these big AI models, which may be a good thing. And they probably don't have giant hospital boards and management that is pushing them to integrate it into their daily life. And
the downside is they're all getting closed for lack of funding and are being snatched up by venture capitalism.
Yep. So then maybe our small actions, which, I'm sorry to be a Pollyanna, but here I am, our small actions right now can help keep some of those smaller facilities in our area alive and kicking for a little longer. And we can tell them why we chose them, that we didn't want AI. We wanted actual human beings in our community. And then the fifth biggest con of AI, and I don't have them ranked in order because who could, but it's ethical considerations. Do we want to involve AI in life and death situations? And who do we hold accountable? That's my big thing for AI medical advice that goes wrong. The company that created the AI, do we sue them? The contractor that futzed with and packaged it up and sold it to the hospital, or hospital administrators that forced the doctors to push this on people? Like, who do we actually have to hold accountable? I mean, there's probably a million more cons, but those are the 5 that stuck out to me.
You know who's going to end up making a killing off of this?
Who?
In which that probably was a poor choice of words, a killing.
Yeah.
The insurance companies that are going to have to create all kinds of new malpractice insurance that you're going to have to pay for.
Yep. You're right.
Clanker malpractice insurance is going to become a thing. Think
Jesse,
about it.
You're exactly right. When you said that, I'm like, I hear cha-ching, cha-ching. You're exactly right. That is gross.
Because I mean, look at the American healthcare system is pretty much an insurance racket.
Yeah.
Right
yeah, that's
now.
so true.
We're literally the only place in the world who's just like, you know what? Let's not do that. Give people healthcare. Let's just let all the insurance companies run it, and
that'll go well. We're seeing that.
We'll all make kickbacks.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what we got. That's what we've always had. That's what we got now.
I mean, we're not going to get personal medical stuff, but Jesse and I know, we know shit. We've been through real shit. And I know about specifically the $100 can of Gatorade that they bill insurance $100 for a can of Gatorade when they need electrolytes for a patient. The system is broken.
Even when your mom has Medicare and a secondary insurance policy, when she gets cancer, it's expensive. I can assure you.
Yep. And on top of it, then there's the scare factor because you'll get bills that are astronomical and these numbers. And you're like, wait, what is supposed to be paid for by these things? And it's intimidation. It's terrifying. And if you don't have, somebody with that legal eyes for it, it can be terrifying because you're like,
well, it doesn't matter, Jen, because now you're going to call a number and a clanker's going to answer and it's going to explain everything for you.
Yeah, exactly. It explained it.
So it'll just be clear as day.
This is the best insurance question I've ever heard.
Oh my God. You have the best hospital bill I've ever seen in my life.
Those are the most zeros I've ever seen in my life.
Oh my God. You have done such a good job racking up bills for Tylenol and Gatorade.
Yes.
And a fucking blanket,
Yeah. Oh my God. It's so true. So Tech Magic had even more, let's say, peeks into the dark side of AI in medicine, I guess. They said that they were seeking to answer whether the healthcare industry can manage its dark side, including issues around AI ethics.
It can't manage itself now before the clankers.
I agree. But they came away with a couple facts that I felt like weren't highlighted by other people. And I'm seeing it on Substack. They're kind of blank spots. One is a system outage could cause operational paralysis if workflows are built on AI, right? You have a bunch of people that don't know how to do their jobs because the machines aren't working. So we're going to it's making us dumber. And that includes in medicine. And even with the most amazing medical professionals, they're like, we don't have our tools. How do we do our thing? And that's pretty terrifying. They went on to point out that 66% of US physicians used AI in 2024, which was up from 38% in 2023. So just imagine it now.
Because doctors Google shit. And now doctors chat GPT shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and also the FDA.
Which is fine. Everybody Googles shit. You know what I mean? Like, what if you're just like, well, I never did that one before. What's the general, I mean, everybody Google's generalized
they've done the
questions.
WebMD thing.
Yeah.
And it makes,
exactly.
But it makes you nutso. I mean, I think that there's so many times that when you have a diagnosis that's not maybe simple like conjunctivitis, I'm not dissuading people from getting diagnosed with conjunctivitis and getting the right eye drops, but I'm just saying something bigger than that. It's like the healthcare, actual human beings will say, do not Google it. You'll drive yourself nuts. And it will.
You will.
I know.
But
at least they tell you that.
I know
I
you've
have
done
too.
it too.
I have, but it's so great to hear them in my head. It's almost like that little angel on my shoulder going, that's enough. Stop it. But I'm scared because the FDA has already approved 1,000 AI tools authorized by the FDA that are in use right now. And a lot of those are concentrated on radiology.
It's almost like those people can be paid off by tech companies.
It is.
But I mean, that can't be right? That can't be a thing, right? It's almost like you can pay those people under the table and like they'll just let shit pass.
No.
But that's not a thing.
No,
of course not.
That's your fiction mind.
That's just me being Jesse Conspiracy again over here.
Okay, so I had to pull it together with some cases in action. These come from techmagic.com. I've linked to their article.
Oh my God.
Brace yourself.
I'd like to pray for everybody we're about to talk about ahead of time.
Okay.
Well, and
maybe we will
to them and their families, because I know this is going to be a doozy.
They're going to be doozies. So the 2024 Courier Mail investigation researched AI-powered medical scribes being used in Australian clinics. These tools are designed to listen during patient consultations and automatically generate clinical notes. That sounds so good, right? While they promise to save time for doctors, the report highlighted two key risks. First, these tools sometimes produced inaccurate or fabricated, which is lies, details in the medical record. This not only creates clinical safety risks, but also undermines the reliability of the stored patient data. Secondly, because these scribes process sensitive conversations in real time, patient data may be transmitted, stored, or even used to retrain commercial AI models. The lack of clarity about where the data goes, who has access, how securely it's handled, and whether informed consent was obtained raises red flags among clinicians and privacy experts. I was just thinking, what if you are a victim of a domestic abuse situation? And that has gone into, and I'm going to start crying right now, and that has gone into some AI model to train them. It's like, oh yeah, now we can train. And we know that they were saying this, but there was more to it. And this person, was hit by their domestic partner or something. It's going to keep people from going to maybe the one person that maybe would, the human being, if it was just them stripped down in a room and say, let's get you some help. Let's get you out of that situation, because they don't feel like it's a closed, private, safe space anymore. That just makes me so mad. It's awful.
Yeah. They're, and they actually, everything keeps going back to the pit. I mean, they're on top of their game, but like they went through, they had a sexual assault victim, and
Really?
they went into the whole, like, the whole process of over a couple of episodes. It was like in detail, like these are the protocols we have to follow. And this is, chain of custody of the, because this is possible evidence. And like, it was like the actors did such a good job with it, but I mean, but it was heavy.
I bet it was. Well, we can lighten it up with the second one because it's kind of funny in a way. It reminds me of a little kid, or there was this game where you would pull out these cards, you'd play these cards, and then there was this one card and you'd have to make up a word. Well, in 2024, The Verge reported that Google's Med Palm, which was later turned into Gemini, which it is now, hallucinated a non-existent medical term. It was called basilar ganglia due to a typo in the training data. So they were saying, as you can see, simple data errors can cascade into faulty recommendations.
Does it tell you if I get vascular ganglia? Does it tell you what I'm suffering from?
I don't know. Yeah. Well, now they probably like changed it, but let me go to the Verge article and see what it told us to do.
Like what have I got?
Here it is. Google.
If a clanker tells me I got vascular, what was it? Ganglia or something?
Basal ganglia. Okay.
Basal ganglia. Okay.
Here's the headline. Google's healthcare AI made up a body part. What happens when doctors don't notice? Scenario: a radiologist is looking at your brain scan and flags an abnormality in the basal ganglia. It's an area of the brain that helps you with motor control, learning, and emotional processing, it says. The name sounds a bit like another part of the brain, the basilar artery, which supplies blood to your brainstem, but the radiologist knows not to confuse them. A stroke or abnormality in one is typically treated in a very different way than the other. Now imagine your doctor is using an AI model to do the reading. The model says you have a problem with your basilar ganglia, conflating the two names into an area of the brain that doesn't exist. You'd hope your doctor would catch the mistake and double check the scan, but there's a chance they don't. Though in a hospital setting, the basilar ganglia is a real error that was served up by Google's AI model, Gemini. It included the hallucination in a section on head CAT scans, and nobody at Google caught it in either that paper or a blog post announcing it. Oh my God. When Brian Moore, a board certified neurologist and researcher with expertise in AI, flagged the mistake, he tells The Verge the company quietly edited the blog post to fix the error with no public acknowledgement, and the paper remained unchanged. Google calls the incident a simple misspelling of basal ganglia. Some medical professionals say it's a dangerous error and an example of the limitations of healthcare AI. Well, I would say so. I'm sorry. It's kind of funny, though, I have to say it. Lightened it up a little bit. Just wait. This one's kind of funny, too.
Can we stop? Can we keep this shit sandboxed until we know it's not making up parts of the fucking brain that don't exist?
You know what? And I was going to say something, but I don't even want it tested on animals. I don't believe in animal testing. So we shouldn't even allow it in the veterinary sphere until we let's sandbox it. I like that. Here's another one. You can handle testing?
It. Yes, sir. Calliope says no. She's not into that.
She's like, keep your AI stuff away from me.
Yeah, she's like she's been trained already not to trust clankers.
You've raised her right.
I know. So it was hard.
Here's the scoop. If staff accept algorithmic recommendations without validation, misdiagnoses or unsafe treatment decisions could follow, of course. Here is a real world example of the negative impact of AI. And that over-reliance that we were talking about earlier. A 39-year-old man from California used ChatGPT for health advice and was told to drink a mixture of salt and apple cider vinegar. After consuming it for several days, he developed hallucinations, paranoia, and violent behavior caused by sodium poisoning. Doctors, like real human doctors, treated him in a hospital for acute psychosis, and specialists later warned that AI chatbots can generate convincing but unsafe medical recommendations.
I wouldn't let that fucking thing explain to me how to put a Band-Aid on. You know what I mean? And as far as like mixing up some like healing brew, you know, of apple cider vinegar and what
salt.
the fuck ever. Yeah. Like what was it on? Like, you know, like Appalachian folk magic, you know, or something.
Reddit, that subreddit.
Yeah, that subreddit on yeah.
And then the subsequent tweets about it going,
grandma's old time remedies, you know. It's like, yeah.
My dad, who, you know, I have two dads, but one of my dads, the cure to everything was witch hazel. Put witch hazel on it.
Oh my God. You know, that's funny because that was my grandma too.
Grandma Freeman.
Oh yeah. She put it on me for something. I don't remember what it was. Like I got like a bug bite or something. I don't remember how the witch hazel came into the, you know, but
mine was for acne, I think. I was like,
God damn, that shit burns, you know?
I know exactly.
She's like, it's supposed to. That means it's working. I'm like, no,
that's exactly. I swear to God, it's on the bottle. It's supposed to. That's how you know it's working.
Fucking hurts worse than the bug bite did. Like, I should have raw dogged it. You know what I mean? I should have just ride or died with the fucking mosquito bite.
I know, but we do more damage because when we sleep, I feel like, you know, I shouldn't say we, but I scratch the hell out of it and make it so much worse. So witch hazel might do it.
I'm kind of jealous that you actually sleep.
Well, I told you that I would get back to this, and I really do need to touch upon it because it reminds me of the crash test dummy moment where they were like, wait, the crash test dummies were only made. I love that song. But you remember there was like a moment where I realized, I think it was published, that they were tested for a certain average height, and it was actually mostly like very tall men, and they weren't for the average height. That's why airplane seats don't work for me. I'm Thumbelina, and my head and neck go in the very wrong spot. And medicines, like even the back of your Tylenol, they don't specify for a certain weight, and they're usually tested on bigger subjects than you. So this goes back to what I was saying at the top about children. Margaret Lozavatsky, she's a doctor, and she was shocked. Why was AI warning her of an 85% mortality risk in a mostly healthy 6-year-old patient? The child was hospitalized, sure, but only with the usual non-life-threatening RSV virus. From her clinical perspective, she knew the AI's assessment was inaccurate. When she and some colleagues dove into the case, they found that particular AI tool had never been tested on pediatric patients. Imagine the potential risk that could have happened if I used that value to change the way I cared for this patient, the doctor says, who happens to be the AMA's Chief Medical Information Officer and Vice President of Digital Health Innovations. She said this is why you need clinicians in the conversation. The AMA posted the item August 21st to get the word out about its toolkit, designed to steer provider orgs through appropriate intake and evaluation processes for new AI tools. The helps include a working group with physicians and other health professionals. So it integration delays are common, especially in legacy healthcare IT environments, they warn. The frequent system hallucinations or incorrect outputs damage user confidence. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. Reliability issues may force staff to double check outputs, negating efficiency gains, and put an asterisk on that because I found this next from Influx MD. Clinical decision support systems generate such volumes of alerts that 90 to 96% are now routinely overridden by physicians. 96%.
Y'all should see Jen's finger moving around.
Oh my God,
now.
I'm so mad.
Like, it's like I feel like she's gonna be like that girl from The Ring, and like it's gonna come out of it's gonna come out of the monitor.
we're going to find out that I created a portal in my backyard somehow. And if a dragon flies through, I'm going to try to film it. So here's the scoop. Some doctors receive 100 to 200 alerts daily, leading to documented cases of physicians typing, "This alert is not helpful," or entering random characters just to bypass the interruptions. The cognitive burden is what they're calling it, of evaluating and dismissing irrelevant AI suggestions actually increases physician workload rather than reducing it. Let's see. And then they talk about a specific model. They had this sepsis model that was actually called EPIC. And in a room, like a conference room full of people, it epitomized a failure. It generated alerts for 18% of all hospitalized patients while missing 67% of actual sepsis cases. It's such an abject failure, Jesse.
I mean, that's good though. We need to make the doctors cranky about this, because that's how this shit's not going to catch on.
You're right. And on top of it, do you know why I think they did the whole pit thing? I'm so glad they're doing it, and they have the sub topics about the AI, is because Hollywood pushed back very early of like, you're going to replace all of us, this whole creative process, with AI, actors, stealing our voice, stealing our image, doing all these things. And, this is not okay. So then I love that now it's leaching into screenplays and other places where people are pushing back. So it's not just us folks that are going, data centers are going to kill Mother Earth, and the people in the global South that had to are still having to deal with trauma because they have to go through and vet these awful images and things, text. But it's like now we have a bigger pool of people, like you're saying, Jesse, that are aware of it and kind of pissed off about it.
Yeah, witch hazel sprinkled all over them. It's that AI shit burns.
Yes, it does burn. So have a real person diagnose you.
My whole thing with this is they keep telling you like AI can make mistakes, so make sure you double check it.
Yeah.
Oh, how's about just fucking do it right the fucking first time?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Just everything's everybody's been charting and everything just fine up till now. You know what I mean? Every time we try to make something efficient, and I've seen this in having fucked around with tech, and like you too.
Yeah,
every time you try to make something more efficient, a lot of times it doesn't work.
It does the opposite.
It does the opposite.
You've made more work.
It gives you more to do.
I think it was last week, maybe we talked about this. I forget the expert's name, but he was a professor of something very distinguished. And he was like, we're all part of a social experiment, and we didn't ask to be. And now it's in the sphere of medical stuff. It's like, let's throw it on the wall and see what sticks. But it's about our medicine, our well-being in our bodies.
Isn't there plenty of other shit that they can wreck with this before they start fucking up people's like mental health?
Let's make a list of things that it would be okay to wreck. A lot of things come to mind, but yes, I agree with you 100%.
And you know what? They make a strong argument for, and I'm not going to rule this out of like, well, AI could be trained to be really good to like find things that people miss and like, in scans and things like that. Okay. I'm sure you're probably right. I don't think we're there.
No, I don't
Not
either.
even 3 years ago, nobody was talking about this shit. And like now we're having it like, oh, you know what we should do? It's like 3 years old now. Let's make it a doctor.
And it's like, how AI slop has made people question everything. And they're like, I don't believe anything. I have to see it with my own eyes in person to believe it. But they're doing that with the medical sphere too, because I guess, this feels like a little mini doom hole, but there was a story that was going viral about this dog who had cancer, and AI created this cure for this dog, and he didn't have cancer anymore. Yay, AI. Well, you don't have to scratch the surface very far to realize the dog was already on 2 anti-cancer medications and they were using them on the dog. They've used them on humans and they were effective on the dog. And then the AI, what it did was next to nothing. It was like, oh, those 2 together might work. And it didn't even come up with the right proportions. But yet you have
mix
Sam
a little
Altman.
apple cider vinegar in with the dog's food, and like that'll fix it.
You forgot the salt. And
that's the missing component.
And the salt.
I gotta imagine that dog food has salt in it already. You know what I mean?
I think that's otherwise they probably wouldn't eat it. But then you have
being attacked by a demon, just pour a can of dog food and circle around you and you'll be okay.
But my problem there's so many problems with what they were saying about misrepresenting what AI's role was in the healing of this dog that had cancer. But my real problem is Sam Altman and others going around on a parade of like, this should be a thing. This is why we need to be funded more. And it's disgusting.
You know, he's one of those weirdos that doesn't like dogs. You know what I mean?
That's my feeling.
I bet you that guy I bet he doesn't have a dog. And like he lives in this like giant
meticulous
concrete thing. You know what I mean? Yeah, with
shiny surfaces.
With like nothing, and like gets his blood sucked out of him and then like shot back into him or whatever.
He doesn't have any sugar soda in his fridge.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, there's nothing in his fridge, but like probably I don't know, like
those micro doses of like fresh pressed juice.
Yeah, and like a stalk of carrots or some celery or something. You know what I mean? And like he's probably got horrible AI art all over his walls. You know what I mean? That he paid like ridiculous amounts of money for. Like that like all that
those NFTs.
Yeah, those dumb things.
That's where they all went.
Yeah, they're all hanging in that dude's house. They're probably not even that. Like they're probably all on these screens. You know what I mean? That like. And I'm sure that like there's always like this sort of like weird, like when you walk into the spa to get like a massage or whatever, or seaweed wrap, and like it's playing that weird it's
atmospheric music.
It's just like really nothing, it's not even real music. It's
these are the people like that are trying to get AI to be our doctors, and we should push like that back.
Or it's like something generates music and it's like like whales fucking backwards or something. You know what I mean? Just like these weird like soundscapes.
I picture he has a Roomba that has a fluffy tail on it, and that is his dog.
Yeah,
probably has a name.
It's named something like I don't know, some weird like mythology name, and it's like a cockatrice over there in the corner. There is a crumb. I've seen a crumb. He loves it. I think I hear my Discord. Perhaps that's Daddy Carp.
Stop it, Dr. Carp. That's a big thing is, I bet you a nickel they have a professional physician, the billionaires in Silicon Valley, based on my exposure to
those people aren't going to like a regular hospital.
No, they have, I guarantee they have healthcare that comes to them. They have a real doctor that comes to their place,
of course,
to give them everything that they need.
That's like their only, he's their only client. You know what I mean?
Let's take a cue from them, and let's really just don't hesitate to actually go see real human healthcare providers.
Maybe the people that are making these decisions on things should actually be using those services. Yeah. You know what I mean?
As like the minimum bar of putting it out into the public sphere.
No, none of them have ever rolled into the free clinic.
No,
you know what I mean? Like,
no, they have not.
Or even just like a normal doctor's office.
Yeah, they
have no clue.
No, they don't.
They don't know, but we're letting these geniuses, we're letting them decide how part of our lives should function. Our education,
Yeah,
our healthcare,
exactly. Time on our devices, whatever the things are.
How we work, what I mean?
Mhm.
And
Yep.
they have zero frame of reference for all this.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, I'm still on a rant because I did my taxes yesterday. And it's not like I don't. I'm God-fearing American. I'm fine paying my taxes. The whole time I'm doing it, I'm like, I bet you anything, I'm paying more taxes than Jeff Bezos is right now. You know?
Yes, exactly.
Pisses me off.
I know. Me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
But I'm like probably just paid more than like Zuckerberg and Elon combined. You know?
Yep. Because you don't have a fleet of accountants and offshore accounts and different things.
I'm not just like
loopholes and loopholes.
I don't have every senator in my pocket, going. You know what would be cool if like we didn't have to worry about paying taxes.
Oh my!
And they're like, oh, okay, that sounds great.
I thought you were going to do your Bernie again and make us all feel better.
No, Bernie
he's pushing back on it.
He wouldn't put up with that shit.
Oh, I know.
Like, you're going to pay your taxes. You're going to pay them. I'm going to make sure. You're going to pay them.
That was your best ever. Okay, well,
that's
a good way to end it. Yeah, that was really good. Yeah, I
Oh.
think it was really good. Well, Bernie and Jesse and me, go see real doctors this week.
Those fucking guys.
You need them. Let's stay healthy and get out there and just be healthy. But if you're not feeling great, don't hesitate. But, just maybe see real human beings.
Jen, put the crash test dummies back in my head. I hadn't been there since like the 90s. Now
I wish we had a little Casio keyboard and one of us could play it right now.
Superman never made any money, saving the world from Solomon Grundy.
Fucking clankers. Fucking clankers. Fucking clankers.